Welcome to Sexy Sunday, where we analyze sex scenes from films and TV shows, discuss what they tell us about the story, the characters, and more importantly, whether they're hot or not. I'm Jessica.
I'm Anishka.
And this is Sexy Sunday.
Today we're going to be talking about Fleabag, which is a comedy drama created by Phoebe Waller-Bridge and first performed as a one-woman show before being made as a series, with the first season coming out in 2016 and the second one in 2019, and I counted 9 sex scenes.
Oh, to be fair though, when I was watching the second season with like Sexy Sunday brain on, I was like, there aren't actually that many sex scenes in season 2.
There's 2. Yeah. Like nine sex scenes in 12 episodes, where there's literally 4 episodes with no sex at all. Is actually the first season has a lot of sex scenes.
Yes.
Which is quite interesting.
Yeah. And I think there's more sexual tension, especially in the second season.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a lot of like the subtext around like our relationship with sex. It like, I think the first time I watched it, it very much reminded me of like early to mid 20s of like trying to get validation from sex. And she does it so well.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say what my plan is so that we can
Your very strict, organized plan we must stick to. No tangents.
No tangents. No, we can definitely tangent within the plan. So I think we should start by talking about Fleabag as her character. Then I think we should say everything we have to say about the up-the-arse guy. Then Harry. Then the lawyer.
Yes.
I've not counted the boss rodent because if you have any...
Wait, is that his actual name from like his actual character
that's
name?
His name in the script.
That's amazing. Oh my god, you actually have the book.
Yeah, I have the it's called Boss Rodent. Yeah, I have the scriptures, which is really good. Highly recommend. Not sponsored. Sponsor us, please.
Not sponsored by Fleabag. Sponsored by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
I mean, if she wants to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a section for him because I didn't have anything to say about him. But if you do, like, fit it in between like Harry and the lawyer or something. And then I've got obviously a section about the hot priest because obviously
he deserves his own full section.
Well, yeah, of course. I have a question first of all.
Ooh, hit me.
Did you not see it coming from like pretty much like in the first episode in season 1 that she was the one who slept with Boo's boyfriend?
I did not see it. I remember the first time I watched it and like there was stuff that was alluding to Boo, but it like when it was the reveal, I remember being really shocked.
Really? And okay, that's so interesting.
Did you? Because I'm guessing then you picked up on it.
I felt like from the very, very, very start, it's super obvious that it's her. Like when she's in the taxi and she says she killed herself because her boyfriend fucked someone else, I was like, well, that's obviously her. And to me, even though the first season is really good, the last episode with the reveal is kind of disappointing. Like I feel like it's so obvious that really? I actually was super disappointed. Yeah, I was like, well, why are they saying it? It's obvious to everyone. And now I'm realizing it's not, so that makes more sense.
Yeah, I think because I like to be hopeful of my characters, and like obviously Fleabag is such a flawed character, which is what makes her so great. And like maybe a part of me there was an inkling, but I didn't want to believe it.
I really, really, really love I'm pretty sure it's the first episode, when Fleabag explains that she's obsessed with sex. Well, she says she's not obsessed with sex, but she says, I just think about it all the time. I think everything that she says at that point, so she says that she loves the drama of it, the awkwardness of it, the moment you realize someone wants your body, and she likes all of those things over the feeling of it. Like, it's not the feeling of it, not so much. I think it makes so much sense when you're looking at her sex scenes. It's exactly that. Like, she basically really spells it out for us. Actually, we don't even need to do this podcast. You can just tell in all of her sex scenes, she's not, obviously, apart from with the priest, it's all about the performance of it. It's not at all about the feeling of it. You can tell that I don't even know whether it feels anything.
And yeah, because like you notice that in every sex scene, she like, besides with the priest, she's always engaging with us. So it's like you definitely see that story play out, and she's more enjoying, like, even with bus rat guy.
Bus rat,
like
don't insult him.
You can tell she's put off from him from the beginning, but it's like, it's that someone wants her body. It's that, like, what is it going to be like, that entices her in. But then when she's actually in it, you can see she's just like, this is not it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, she's always submissive in sex. Whoever she's with, every single time we see it, she's like, she's on top once with the up the arse guy.
She's always like lying down pretty much.
Yeah.
And then that's when she faces the camera, but she doesn't seem to be involved really. It's always kind of like happening to her.
And I'm kind of feeling like this is also the case for her life in general. Like, obviously she does make choices. Like, she decides to sleep with Boo's boyfriend, she chooses to steal the sculpture, like things like this. But when you really see, first of all, with Boo's boyfriend, you see that he's the one coming on to her, not saying that it's an excuse or anything, but you can kind of tell that in a way she was kind of passive-ish, at least at first. I think, with her godmother, maybe it's the only time we really see her actively, like, despising her and acting on it.
Yeah.
Everything else, she's kind of just like going through life, like in the first season at least, she's always like clearly trying to fight loneliness by just like instead of trying to find someone she actually likes, she doesn't have anyone to go for a drink with, she goes with Bus Roden. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's very much like, well, things are happening to me, that guy's asking me out, I'm just gonna say yes. She doesn't have much control of her own life in first season, I'd say.
100%.
And I think it's interesting that she's like that in bed as well.
That is really interesting, because even with Harry, even in that situation where she could so easily take control, she doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's really like an interesting look into how she deals with life. And even, it's funny because even in the second season, when she feels more in control, both the one with the lawyer and with Hot Priest, she's still lying down.
She's still lying down. I mean, obviously she's allowed to. Maybe it's just her favorite position. I don't know. but I feel like it's got to say something. I think the only scene where she's like on top is with the up the arse guy, and it's the scene where he keeps on talking about how small her boobs are, and I'm thinking like that was definitely the reason why she's on top, is so he could say that. If she was like on the bottom, it's not quite as fun because obviously her boobs are going to be smaller if you're laying down, etc., etc. I feel like it kind of lended itself to the line a bit more, which I feel like is genuinely the only reason she's on top at this point.
I agree. Wait, can we get on to talking about the arse guy, or we still want to like?
We sure can.
I just love the first episode with her monologue. It is brilliant because it again establishes how like sex for her is a performance. It's a whole like routine for her. Like it's a sense of escapism that she like does with someone, but then it also establishes us quite firmly as we get to be in her inner world. We get to be in her thoughts and like how she actually feels about things. That's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
He's like, simultaneously, it's like he's obviously so hot that it's great that she can, like, for her, that she feels it to sleep with him, but he subtly undermines her in so many ways, like calling her, like, her boobs are just so small, and also
but he seems really into it.
He seems really into it, but I think there's like quite overt subtext that he is gay.
Really?
Or is it just me reading into it? Well, the fact that he likes the fact that she doesn't have big boobs and small boobs, quite quickly goes to do it up the bum, is like very emotional, like even though it's quite surface level with like the emotional, but he likes to have a bath with her, and there's like, I don't know, it just like feels like there's subtle seeds being planted that either he's bi or he's gay.
I don't really read it as that, but I enjoy hearing your thoughts about it. But yeah, to me it is very well, not classic, not that I've ever met anyone quite like him, but quite classic, like really into himself, just very handsome guy who doesn't have much else, and so he relies on that quite a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's other sex scenes with him in it that I'm missing.
Well, obviously there's the one where he keeps on talking about how tiny her boobs are, which I'm quite amazed at the fact that even though the entire sex scene is just talking about how small her tits are, it's kind of not at all the worst sex scene in the entire show. It's almost one of the sexiest, because so many of the sex scenes are horrible.
The one that comes to mind is the old man.
I was going to say, is it the one with the old man? Yeah.
Like, I haven't rewatched the first season in a really long time because, like you and most people who watch Fleabag, I love the second season, and I'd completely blotted that out of my memory. And then when that came on, and I was like, oh no,
yeah, it's not good.
Oh, I know another reason that I think he's gay. When they're at her sexhibition and they're looking at the wall of penises. And he goes, my mouth is watering and I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
that's what makes me also think that he likes penis.
I wonder if that is a thing and I've just totally missed on it. Do you want to get into Harry?
Yes I do.
First of all, did we get a little bit of Marius from Sexifying Harry with his all no masturbation obsession? When he was like, I just don't think we should masturbate anymore. I was like, ooh, hello, Marius. Long time no see.
Nice of you to show up in another TV show. I didn't actually pick that up. I love Harry's character, not because he's good, like as in he's a good person, but because I know so many Harrys. They're like subtly misogynistic, think they're a nice guy, and like are so emotional, but they like are misogynistic with their emotional self, especially like when it's Fleabag's mum's funeral and she's having to comfort him, and then he's got like when in second season when he's got the baby and he's talking about how it's like him going through that pregnancy, it's like he's very much expects the women to do the emotional labor, but he still sees himself as like a lovely man. Like I love that character of Harry because he's just so he's so perfectly annoying and wimpy and just
The actor's amazing. He plays him so well.
Yes, definitely. And like when they're having sex and it's just the most uncomfortable soft thing.
One of my favorite things that happens with Harry is when she surprises him by in the shower with a huge knife and a balaclava on, and his first reaction is, I thought I was gonna get raped and not I thought I was gonna get murdered. I love that this is where his mind first went, which I guess he was naked, but still massive knife. I would definitely think I'm going to die
I'm gonna get
before
stabbed.
I'm going to get raped.
Yeah. I also like that when Fleabag is masturbating to like Obama, like the fact that he's just like so upset, and it's just because she's so dissatisfied by him that she has to masturbate in order to like have enjoyment. And even when they're having sex and she like pushes him off and is like, no, I don't want you to touch me. And it's just like, again, it's not like for sex for her isn't for that enjoyment. It's just to like have someone close, but not the actual sex. Like she wants someone to be interested in her.
Yeah. I have a question about Obama, because obviously Obama put Fleabag season 2 in his list of the best shows of 2019. Yeah, that's insane. But he did like write Fleabag season 2, which obviously Fleabag season 2 like won a whole lot of Emmys and Golden Globes and stuff, and that was just for season 2. That wasn't season 1 wasn't included in it. Do you think he's watched season 1? Surely he knows about it.
He must know about it.
Someone has to have told him.
Yeah, you can't be a public figure and there be a scene in a TV show where someone masturbates to you and you don't know about it.
No, that's impossible, right? So
100%.
I think it's quite ballsy of him to have put the show on this list. I really appreciate it. I really love that Obama was like, fuck it, I've still really enjoyed the second season. Do you have any thoughts on Bus Rodent? Bus Rodent in the sex shop was actually quite enjoyable.
Just how uncomfortable he was.
I just love when he sees like the whole vagina thing. When he's like, you should get one. And she's like, a vagina? I've already got one. And he's like, what? Have you got one? And she's like, yeah, I've got one on me. And he was like, no, you don't. You're joking.
And she's just like doing cuts to the camera being like, he's not going to get it.
He's never going to get it.
He's not going to get it.
It's hilarious. Do you find that the men in the first season are quite unbelievable, or do you think they actually are believable? Because you said like you've met people like Harry and you've met people like the Obdiar's guy is realistic to you. I feel like I've never met anyone that's like that, and I don't mind it at all because I think it works really well for the show, so that's not a criticism at all. But like especially with the sex scenes, they're all like so over the top bad and they all say things that are incredibly cringy, and I'm like, there's no way that someone would have that many experiences of having sex with people who act like this during sex. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I would say like I know like Bus Rodent, I know elements of like obviously they're taken as exaggerations because it's like a TV show and it's meant to be like super awkward, but with Harry there's so much of him that's believable that I've met in different guys. Like obviously it's like a more exaggerated version, but I think to me the fact that I can see maybe in the Up the Arse guy it's a little bit less believable, but I think in each of them the fact that I can see like an element of the real world that really like anchors me into the awkwardness of it.
That's fair enough. What do you think it is that makes the lawyer so good in bed?
I think he would try loads of different positions.
Interesting, because we only see them doing missionary when she's like, he's really good at it.
Yeah, maybe he's like, I don't know, dexterity. Maybe there's like a hotness involved. Also, do you think that Claire and the lawyer actually had sex at some point?
No, I don't think so. I feel like there's definitely flirtation, and I feel like it's something that could have happened if she hadn't fallen in love with Claire. But I really feel like the first person she's cheating on Martin with or thinking of really cheating on Martin with is Claire. Maybe I'm missing out completely on the storyline, but I feel like that.
Yeah. No, I think there's the fact that she says to Fleabag, don't sleep with him, is because she wants to claim ownership over him. Like she wants to have that as her thing because she's so like her with Fleabag. It's like, stop taking, like I'm the funny one. I
stop taking everything. Yeah. I also feel like she would kind of have said that anyway, because I feel like she's always acting like basically like Fleabag's mom, and she's always telling her off for all sorts of things. So I can also see Claire being like, just don't sleep with your lawyer.
Yeah.
When you see her with the lawyer at first in the scene where Fleabag's like, oh, there's something going on, it seems like something's going on because Claire's never acted like this. But then when you see her with male Claire, you're like, oh, right, okay, probably nothing was going on with the lawyer. This is what she's acting like when there's something going on, which is way more heightened.
Exactly. I
feel like the lawyer, whilst he's, you know, shown with flaws, and he's also like, he's obviously not just like a completely regular person. He's more something that someone I can imagine meeting than the other three.
Yeah.
More toned down version of a stereotypically super emotional guy, or super like whatever you would call Harry.
Harry's an emotional, like weaky kind of person. Do you also think that because it's in season 2 and it's her like getting control back over her life, it's like this is the moment that she like gets that sex that she really wants.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like with the of the arse guy, I feel like there's a tiny bit of that. I feel like she is attracted to him, and I don't really see it like the Buzz Rodden guy or Harry, where it's more like desperate, like there's a sadder undertone to it. I understand that it's also the case with the Arse guy, but I see it a little bit less. But I do know what you mean. I do think that with the lawyer, it's like she just wanted it a bit more.
Yeah, because she still like in a way is filling the void because the hot priest is unavailable. Exactly.
All right, should we stop fucking about and just get onto the hot priest already?
Yes, please. This show does sexual tension so well. Even from the first moment he's on screen and you're just like, oh.
There's sexual tension from the very first time they meet. I think really as soon as he's like, well, fuck you then, or whatever. Like,
yeah, because I was gonna say, like, when do you think is the moment that she really is like, I have a crush on this man? And I think it's that.
I think that's that.
Because she has this look in her eye that's like, okay. But then she's kind of opens up to it. P.S. Can we just talk about that message that you sent me where you were like, I have a crush on their stepson?
I think he's got a lot of charisma. I said he looks really British, and I think that's what gets me. He's got such an Englishman's face. I mean, you know, he's no hot priest, and obviously that's where my focus is. But in real life, if I had met creepy Jake, I would have been like, why is he so creepy? And why am I kind of almost into it? I can so see myself as a teenager being into him because he would have been really weird and I would have been really intrigued by it.
Should we get back onto the priest?
Do you fancy Andrew Scott when you see him in Other Things, if you've seen him in Other Things?
Yeah, it wasn't until Fleabag where I was like, I have such a crush on Andrew Scott.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What about you?
Yeah, same. Like, I mean, I never thought he was ugly or anything, but I was just like, yeah, great actor.
Yeah.
And then obviously I saw him in this and I was like, why is he so hot? And when did this happen? And why did no one tell me? And I wonder, I mean, obviously it's the character, it's the tension, it's everything. Is it just because he's a priest? Is my question.
I don't think it's just because he's a priest.
Yeah.
I think he is very attentive with Fleabag. And he's like got this sort of curiosity to him and sweetness to him that kind of makes you fancy him more. And obviously there's like that forbidden element.
Yeah. The scene, can we talk about the confessional scene?
Yes.
I can't ever take the moment where he opens the curtain really seriously because I think it's so overly dramatic. It looks like he's about to kill her.
He does, but I think it's more because obviously he's about to like go against
sin.
Yeah, he's about to sin. That he's like,
I know, but it upsets me.
How do you want him to open it?
Slowly? I don't know. It just opens it in like such a rage, and then the music, and it's like we're like obviously seeing him from her point of view, so he looks really like above us, and he looks so angry. His eyes are like, I was like, oh, what's going on?
I feel like it's more like this lust, but this anger and lust like mixed together because he's obviously like he really wants it, but
turned on.
Yeah, he's really turned on. Oh, he's so turned on.
What do you think it is in Fleabag's confession that gets him so...
I think he really gets off on getting people to open up to him and their vulnerabilities. Okay. Because it's also the fact that he obviously, the best part about season 2, besides the hot priest and all the sexy stuff, is the breaking of the fourth wall, where he's like sees us. And I think for him, it's like he really has to emotionally connect with someone, and that's very big part of, and like someone like Fleabag who has her walls right up. It's like a challenge both in like a religious sense to be like, this person obviously wants help and I want to help them, but also in like a romantic sense of like, I'm attracted to this person and I want to get to know them more. So I think there's that element, I would say. What are your thoughts?
Interesting. Yeah, no, I think you're right. But yeah, he always just takes me out because I don't know. It just always makes me laugh. But I'm not really good with like serious moments. I always find them funny. When they first kiss, like he kneels as well.
Yeah.
And they kiss and it's really like slow, and I'm not gonna say it. No.
I really like the kneel because it's like,
yeah, me too.
It's very dominant, but then him coming down to her level is sort of like rebalancing it. And I think, like, for me, the tentative kissing at the start is like she's almost not wanting to go into it too hard just in case it puts him off. And then I think then when when it starts to pick up, I really enjoyed, like, at first I was like, oh, guys, come on, want to see a bit more, but then I enjoyed that build up.
Me too. I just don't like it when it's slow.
Yeah. No, that's fair. All. At least it's only slow for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But I do love that they don't have sex straight away. And that's
me too.
I love that they're about to have sex in the church though. There's a part of me that's like, I wish they had done it, because
it would have been so hot, but I'm really glad they didn't.
And it made it hotter that he was like, oh no, like I can't do this, is bad, and that he took a step back before going back in. That was well, I mean, it's great. Like, it was hot when they kissed, and then he was like, shit, I can't do this, I can't do the wedding, etc. So he like took a step back, and it's like and then like it makes when it happens even better, because it's like we almost had it, but then we didn't, but then we do. It's great.
Yes, it sustains the pacing because you're more invested, because you're like, oh, that was really hot. You get like a taster of it, and then you're like, come on guys, come on. And then it's so hot when he comes around to her house and she's only in her underwear and she's got the coat on, and you're just like, it's gonna happen, isn't it?
Tears. And tears of horniness. I didn't know that if that was a thing, but I think it's
it is now.
I was just gonna say, from a purely selfish point of view, I really would have wanted to see more of the sex scene, but from a storytelling point of view, it is so good that she pushes the camera. So
good. It's because it's like all the sex scenes that we've seen, she's almost felt like she's needed to escape.
Yeah, because I really think, I really think the whole point of the false wall is so she never has to actually be in her life. Like, it's just, there's always a barrier between her and whatever is happening, and I think that that's exactly that. Like, she can just escape it because she's just like, she's not really there.
Exactly.
It is so clever. We need to talk about
that
fuck you calling me father, like it doesn't turn you on just to say it line.
Oh, that gets me every time.
Even reading it in the book is it's fucking incredible. I don't even understand how one line can have such an impact,
because it's also like it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it really does,
because it's in the episode before the confessional scene, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so it's already like they already have that tension together.
Yeah, it's great that, I mean, I assume he's a bit drunk or whatever, as he always is. But it's so great that, because he's already said to her that they're not gonna have sex. He's already established that he likes her, and that, you know, if he weren't a priest, he would probably have sex with her, but he's not going to do it. So I think it's really the first time that he's like addressing it in such a bold way.
Yes. I was gonna say my favorite, like, besides that scene and the confessional scene, what my favorite hot priest scene is at the wedding, when she slips away to have a cigarette, and then he walks like they have a conversation, he walks past her and he just like kisses her up against the wall. That's what I was gonna say. I think that kiss is like a sex scene of its own. 100%, because you're just like, it's that raw sexual energy you have with someone just after the first time you've had sex and it was really good sex, and you see them again and it's just like the electricity is crackling there, and then you like, they capture it so well that that is honestly it is the hottest scene. It's not a sex scene, but it might as well be a sex scene.
Definitely. What do you think it is about Fleabag that attracts him so much that he's literally going against what he believes in?
I think it's her like honesty around him, and also she's very charismatic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think like those two things really draw her to him. Is that right? Draw him to her.
Draw him to her.
Yeah.
I think it's all about the jumpsuit in the first episode of season 2. He does say that he got into priesthood because of the fashion. Like, he's obsessed with all the clothes. So I can see him being like, this jumpsuit is doing it for me. He's such a good character. And you know what I really love? I love that he's clearly really messed up, even though he's a priest and he's like helping people, etc. Clearly he needs help as well. He's not doing that well. He's very, very obviously got an alcohol problem and other issues, I think. And I like the fact that we never hear what they are. Like, he starts to talk about it when he goes to hers just before the lawyer knocks. And I'm so glad that it's like they're making sure you know that there is something there. Like, there's something, you know, but they don't need to tell us. But I also really love that the person who helps Fleabag the most to like move on with her life is not some kind of perfect human being who's got it all really like who's got it together. I think it's great that it's someone who's not, you know, who's really messy and fucks up and literally fucks up in a massive way, because I mean he's really not supposed to sleep with her, but he still helps her. Like, it's not, you don't have to be perfect to be a good person kind of thing.
Exactly. Or you don't have to be perfect to kind of help someone or like provide them with some like, I don't know, joy in their life.
So do we know how long the priest has been a priest for? Do they say it? I don't think they do.
Not that I remember.
Like, how long do you think he's not had sex for?
Well, he has alluded to the fact that he's been with quite a few people.
Oh yeah, he said he's had sex with many people.
Yeah. But I would say he might still be quite new.
Because he's to priesthood.
Yeah, because he feels like quite young.
Yeah. It's probably just, well, I don't know. I mean, we're probably still talking years though.
Because it must take a while.
Yeah,
to become a priest.
Yeah. I would assume so. I don't know much about it. So wait, like, they're not allowed, are they allowed to masturbate? They're not allowed to masturbate, are they?
No.
So are we to assume that like when he sleeps with Fleabag, it's like the first time he's having any kind of like years?
How does he not come straight away? Like, maybe he does, and then they like he's got great stamina.
Yeah. But I feel like we would have seen it if he had done.
Yeah. Maybe he's just, I don't know.
Maybe he's just that good.
Yeah. She obviously seemed to enjoy it.
Absolutely. That's why I wish we had more details about it.
Yeah. I also love that she like chose to end the show after like he told her it was God that he loved.
Yeah.
And then she's like the end scene of her walking from the bus stop, and then she just shakes her head at us and walks off.
It's so good. It's the perfect end. I really, as much as I love the show, I really don't want a third season, because I can't.
No,
that would just undo all the good that's been done. Like, it's just so perfect in this contained thing.
Exactly. Like, for a purely selfish reason, I'd love a third season, but it just it wouldn't have, like, it's been too long, and it's been the perfect closing. And if she brought back a third season, you knew it would be just for a cash grab. And I think the great thing about the first and second season is everything that is in the show is so intentional. Like, rewatching it, I can see the thread of how Claire is so obsessed with her hair. Like, that thread wasn't so obvious to me before. And I think it's just so beautifully crafted that to end it just on 2 seasons is so smart, because you do have just that perfect, I guess, microcosm of a show. It's kind of what I'm trying to say. But yeah.
No, I agree. I feel like unless there's a really good reason why, kind of like what Phoebe Bridge said, where she was like, oh, I really wanted to bring in someone who can see the Fleabag interacting with the audience, and I think that was like a really good reason to bring the show back, unless Phoebe Bridge like comes up with another really, really good reason to carry on the story, which, you know, I wouldn't put it past her in like a few years or whatever. If she gets like a new idea that would kind of, without undoing everything that's been done, that would kind of trigger Fleabag to go back to talking to us for whatever reason. But unless it's really good, I really don't think it's worth it.
No, I don't think it's worth it either. It's just such a, even like the music is perfect. Like the priest music.
It's so good. I think the first
So
season's
good.
music is also really good. The second season,
Yes.
it has a lot more weight to it because of
Yes.
everything else in the show. But I think both seasons just have amazing music.
I agree. Like I feel like the first season music is sort of like how her inner world is just so chaotic.
Yeah, it
and then
represents
obviously
it so well.
So well. And then obviously the second season is like the priest music.
Yeah.
And it's never
so
overused. It's always used in the perfect ways.
Maybe the people from Sexify could watch Fleabag. I saw an interview with Andrew Scott and someone whose name escapes me. I think she's an actress. And the actress basically tells Andrew Scott that she's masturbated a lot to him as the hot priest. And it's like really funny and everyone's having a laugh and everyone's like, yeah, everyone does or whatever. And Andrew Scott looks absolutely mortified. Like obviously he's laughing, but... yeah, exactly. And like he's laughing, but he's also like, ah. And I was just thinking how funny it is that if 100% if a guy said that to a girl, people would have been like so outraged.
They'd be so outraged.
Because it's a guy, it's like, it's fine, it's funny. It's a girl saying this to a guy, it's like whatever. And I'm not particularly offended by it, but I would absolutely hate for someone to say that to me.
Absolutely. I'd be so mortified. Yeah. Just like, I don't need to, what you do in your bedroom time.
Yeah, please don't tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I get obviously she's
in the dark.
She's obviously not being a dickhead or a creep or anything like that. But I think like the double standard would be so strong. And I hate double standards.
Yes.
So I want to bring it up. Actually, it's not really it is kind of wrapping it up. It's not really related to the priest. But like, I'd really want a window into Claire and Claire's sex because I feel like it's going to be really like enthusiastic.
So enthusiastic. Claire, I love your hair.
I love male Claire so much. I love female Claire as well a lot.
Oh, she's great.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I know why we can't see them having sex, and it's fine. But I would have just wanted to like have a bit of a hint of what it's like.
Me too. I think Claire would be very almost like a wooden board in bed. Like she just seems to me so awkward with her body, and I don't know.
But I feel like she's not gonna be like this with male Claire.
No, not with male Claire.
I was really interested because I was talking about Fleabag with a friend of mine like years ago, and obviously I was like, yeah, the hot priest, blah blah blah, and she was like, oh, I don't like him, and I was like, what? Is that a thing? I didn't realize. Like, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, these words don't make sense to me.
And she was like, yeah, I don't like him because he's a great character, the sexual tension's amazing, blah blah blah. But she was like, but I don't like him because he comes in between us and Fleabag. She was saying like in the first season she feels like she's Fleabag's best friend basically, which she is, like we are.
Yeah.
And she was like, but in the second season he's there as well and he sees that she's talking to us and then she leaves us, and she was like, and that like in my own little selfish way I wanted her to carry on, like I didn't want him to come in between us. And I thought that was quite interesting because I definitely don't think about it like this because I'm just driven by the sexual tension. But but I was like, oh, that's an interesting take.
That is an interesting take. And I see a point, but I feel like in the first season it's harder to watch because she's so like almost like codependent with her breaking the fourth wall. And like in the second season, she's really trying her best to like make the best life for herself, even though she still like doesn't make the best decisions. And the addition of the priest, I love the breaking of the fourth wall. I think it's so well done. Like especially when they're in her cafe and he's like, where do you keep going? And he's like, and then he looks straight at us. But yeah, it's like I think it was so masterfully done.
I agree.
And actually, have you heard of the film Enola Holmes? It's got Millie Bobby Brown. Is that her name? So it's the same. It's one of the directors or someone who worked on Fleabag.
All right.
Directed it, but they overuse the fourth wall.
Oh, really?
So much in the film, like to the point where it's just unnecessary, that it's difficult to believe that that's the same person who worked on Fleabag.
Oh, interesting. Is it the Harry something director?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, I think the breaking the fourth wall is really like difficult to do well.
Yeah.
But
they do it.
They do it really well. So objectively, without letting our hot priest obsession get in the way, who do you think, out of all the guys she sleeps with, who do you think is actually the best in bed? In a very generic way, because obviously the best in bed doesn't really mean anything, because the best in bed for whoever might not be the best in bed for you or me or Fleabag. But you know what I mean, in a generic sense.
I would still go, I'd go hot priest, and then the lawyer shortly follows.
Yeah. But you think objectively the hot priest is better in bed than the lawyer?
I don't know, just like there's something about him that is quite mysterious, that I feel like the lawyer gives it away very quickly, that there would be something, there would be something with the priest that would be very intriguing.
No, I agree. How hot is this show, 1 to 10?
So season 1, because I'm gonna divide it between season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Season 1, I'd say like a 4 or 5, and then season 2 is like an 8 or a 9. Even maybe
I'd say season 1 is a 3. The sex scenes really put me off.
Yes.
And season 2 is like a 9.5, I'd say. I can't imagine it getting much hotter than the priest saying "fuck you, calling me father." Like, he doesn't turn you on, just say it.
Oh my god, that's such a good line. I know we keep saying it, but oh my god, is it such a good line?
It is. So yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
What are we going to talk about next time?
So next time we're going to talk about industry, which pre-podcast we started talking a little bit about it, and we're like, no, save it for the podcast. Yeah, it's gonna be me too. I haven't rewatched it in a while, so
I haven't rewatched it. I don't think I've just watched it once, so I'm very excited about watching it again.
Yeah,
very excited.
Excited too.
Cool. Well, see you next time.
See you next time.